bonjour. Donc aujourd'hui on continue The Council. Donc la dernière fois on avait fini donc l'épisode 1 et on s'était arrêté sur... on se fait accuser du meurtre de Elisabeth, avec qui on avait passé une partie de la nuit. Elle avait essayé de nous faire boire de manière indécente, parce que soi-disant elle aurait vu notre mère disparue que l'on recherche. Voilà. Donc du coup, épisode 2.
How many times must I tell you? You must never put your life on the line for me.
Mother has always had a fascination for Lord Mortimer, but has never wanted to tell me why.
We are doing our utmost to find your mother as quickly as possible. Without your mother, hundreds of men of the cloth would have gone to the guillotine.
All I can tell you is I'm looking for my sister.
Do you believe your mother capable of torturing a child?
An agreement for cannons. Lord Mortimer assured me that you are to take over the project on behalf of your mother.
Johann Christoph von Wollner, Minister of Religious Affairs, and Jacques Peroux, French Revolutionary Tribunal Judge. And you will find that Lord Mortimer is not what one would call conventional, Monsieur de Richet. Monsieur de Richet, I am arresting you for the murder of Elizabeth Adams.
Yeah. Alors justement, je vais faire un truc. Voilà. Bon bah du coup ils ont assez bien résumé le jeu. Les manuscrits, je peux m'équiper de 2 manuscrits. Ces deux-là, j'ai pas encore tout trouvé. Alors un point en science, un point en érudition et un point en logique. Ah non, celui-là et celui-là. Est-ce qu'après... Ouais, édition, j'ai déjà le niveau 1, donc... Ok, talent...
At last we meet, Monsieur de Richet. Do you mind if I call you Louis?
Please do.
Thank you. I wish to apologize wholeheartedly, Louis. I made you cross the seas, and I wasn't even here to welcome you. When I asked you to join us here, it was, of course, in the hope that you would help us find your mother. But an act of horrific violence occurred during the night, and I do not know if this is linked to the disappearance of Sarah.
If there's a possible link to my mother, I hope you'll let me know.
In the early hours of the morning, Elizabeth Adams was found dead in her room, savagely mutilated with a knife. I'll get straight to the point, Louis. According to the initial elements at my disposal, you were the last person to see her alive.
Yes, last night we, Do you suspect me?
I want you to tell me everything that happened last night and leave nothing out. Tell me, how did the evening begin?
Bon, moi,
Duchess Hillsborough and I were returning to our rooms when Elizabeth came up to us. She was in a state of panic and insisted that she needed to speak to me. She said she feared for her life. I took my leave of the Duchess and followed Elizabeth to her room.
Continue.
She insisted we have a drink, without which she refused to confide anything.
What exactly did she want to speak about?
on va lui dire la vérité.
She claimed she saw my mother the previous evening on the cliff, if I remember correctly.
Interesting. I will send someone as soon as possible. But do go on.
I refused to go on drinking with her. She already seemed drunk and her conversation became confused. So, then she ordered me to get out. If only I'd stayed.
Don't blame yourself, Louis. How could you have known? But thank you for this new information. Louis, I shan't hide the fact that this tragedy puts me in a very delicate situation. I cannot risk upsetting the smooth operation of our next conference. But the case cannot remain unaddressed. I must reassure my guests, and justice will be done. And for that to happen, I must ask for your help.
Why is that?
You met Elizabeth. You spoke together, I believe. She trusted you. Listen, Louis. Find out who could have committed this murder. I refuse to believe that one of my guests is the murderer. I want to know who is responsible for this. And I trust you. You have my backing. You must stop at nothing. Can I count on you?
Of course. How would you like me to proceed?
Maybe you could start by going to the scene of the crime. Elizabeth was attacked in her room.
Do you have any suspects in mind, my lord?
I spent most of the night talking with Sir Gregory and His Eminence Piaggi. So I think you can remove them from the list of suspects. Monsieur Bonaparte and President Washington left the party after midnight, I believe. They were tired and went up to bed.
Can you tell me anything else about what happened?
Now, Louis, I wouldn't want to influence you. Get over there and form your own opinion.
Right. I'll get over there immediately.
Thank you, Louis. Now, once you've finished, come back and let me know your findings. I'll be waiting. And Louis, you've got permission to search through the guests' rooms. They've all been notified and they agree.
Oh, nickel, je vais pouvoir tout looter. Bon, bah déjà c'est bien, on a rencontré enfin Lord Mortimer. Tiens, je vais looter chez lui aussi. Lord Milice.
The nightmare painted by Fuseli in 1781.
Allez. Alors, croix de mal, ça fait quoi déjà? Fichier caisse, ok. Faudrait que je trouve du miel. Parce que j'en ai que 2 et je sens que je vais pas tarder à les utiliser.
Which four-letter word could open this chest?
Ah, Zeus. Cool.
Pound.
Là, il y a encore. Putain, mais ce loot.
Dante's Purgatory. Why does your mind presume to flight when you're still like the imperfect grub, the worm before it's attained its final form? Charming.
Your Eminence, I imagine that you've heard the news about Miss Adams.
What a tragedy, my son. How could such a thing have happened?
That's exactly what I'm trying to find out. Did you notice anything out of the ordinary last night?
I saw the young French soldier, Bonaparte, I believe, hanging around near Miss Adams' room. But I would not want to get an innocent man into trouble. It's probably nothing.
Not to worry, Your Eminence. If he is innocent, then he has nothing to fear. Do you know why Monsieur Bonaparte was hanging around her room like that?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to learn that the dashing young soldier had become infatuated with a fragile young woman who looked a bit lost. But I don't think he got a very warm welcome.
Bonaparte and Adams? But they didn't even know each other, did they?
I couldn't say. But if I were you, my son, I would talk to Monsieur Perrault. You remember how violently he set upon Miss Adams.
Oh, don't worry. He's on the list of suspects.
Ouais, mais c'est trop évident. C'est trop évident. Mais cool. On lui posera des questions quand même, mais...
Monsieur Johann van Vollenberg.
Yeah.
Good day, Monsieur de Richet.
Mr. Volner, are you looking for anything in particular? Next to Elizabeth's room?
No, nothing special.
Has anyone told you that Elizabeth was killed last night?
Yes. Rumors spread quickly.
He looks very put out.
It's horrible. How did it happen?
I can say nothing to you, sir. You'd better follow your host's instructions and stay in your quarters.
I shall leave you now, sir. I will return to my room.
Ouais. Ah, attends. Hop. Alors, on va aller voir George Washington. Avant ça, bien sûr, le traditionnel loot. Hey, tech.
Golden elixir, consumed without excess.
The map of Vermont.
On va lui parler juste après.
It looks like a note between Emily and Washington about trade deals. The English and the Americans are preparing a peace treaty. It would appear that Emily is in secret discussion with Washington about reopening trade between the United States and England. If such an arrangement came into being, France would suffer dearly.
My dear George, I'd like to invite you to join me as planned at my place. I have a project to share you. It is time that the United States played a more important role on the world stage.
Okay. Bon, j'ai lu plus vite que lui. Hein, mais... Ensuite, la chambre. Ah, quoi. Ah oui, ouais, c'est de la gelée, c'est pas... C'est la gelée qu'il me faut.
Portrait of George Washington.
Alors, Georgie.
Greetings, Louis.
Mr. President, you can guess why I'm here.
Of course.
Lord Mortimer has sent me to ask you a few questions about last night.
It's... How am I going to tell Elizabeth's father that she's dead?
I know, Mr. President. I shall endeavor to find out the truth about this tragedy. I must ask you to help me, though. Please.
Find the degenerate pig who did this, Louis.
Do you know why she came to the island?
To get help, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that right?
Indeed. Sir Gregory suggested to her father that he introduce her to Lord Mortimer to see if he could help her.
Ça me coûtait 3.
Yes, Lord Mortimer has a talent for healing, apparently. I'm not surprised Sir Gregory advised her to come.
Agreed.
Ah merde, ça m'a tout... Ah non, non, c'est bon.
Do you know if she had any enemies, Mr. President?
Not that I know of. I heard about her altercation with Mr. Peru, but that case was closed, if I'm not mistaken. But if in doubt, I wouldn't leave any door unopened. And I'd go and question your fellow countrymen.
Don't worry. Countryman or not, I'm not letting anybody slip through the cracks. Tell me, Mr. President, had you spoken to Elizabeth since your arrival? You know her father. You thought she was dead.
No, I didn't. And I believe I'll be taking my remorse with me to my grave. I wanted to, but I didn't know where to begin.
You can't blame yourself. You couldn't have known that her days were numbered. Are you all right, Mr. President? Are you feeling all right?
Oh, don't worry. It's this rotten toothache. What do you expect? I'm no spring chicken now.
I'm talking to all the guests to find out who has an alibi and, well, who doesn't, Mr. President. Can you tell me what you were doing last night so that I can strike your name off the list?
I spent the night right here, reading.
All night?
Exactly. Emily stopped by in the middle of the night. You can ask her. She wanted to talk about some business we have in common.
Anything whatsoever to do with Elizabeth?
Not at all, Louis. A business matter.
I shan't keep you any longer, Mr. President.
Feel free, Louis. If there's anything I can do, just ask.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Ok, moi je l'aime bien, George Washington. Ok, lui c'est bon. Là je peux pas y aller. Cardinal, non, ça sert à rien. On l'a déjà vu. Ça c'est ma chambre. Là c'est le duc. On peut pas le voir. Émilie.
King George III in coronation robes. Nice touch for the room of an English duchess.
Dear E, I received your last letter. Unfortunately, the Crown informed the Golden Order that our mission should under no circumstances hamper Sir Gregory's plans. Decidedly, they have support from the highest level in Buckingham Palace. So here we both are, hands and feet tied, and little room to maneuver.
The Lady's Waldegrave by Reynolds, painted upon the request of the Waldegrave family, in an effort to find them a husband. Displayed like meat. It's disgusting. Grammar of Port Royal. Ah, the artistry of the French language in all its splendor. Whoever masters French commands the world. At least une partie of it.
Chinese coin, recognizable by the hole in the middle. If I remember rightly, that's called a cash. A letter from William Pitt the Younger, addressed to Emily. He's the present Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Emily has indeed some powerful backers.
Madam, thank you for consoling the Queen. The King's situation is worsening, but I wager he'll recover from this present fit. Next time you speak with Her Majesty the Queen, would you please be so kind as to ask her to look into my petition to raise taxes with the King? I will personally see to it that our nation...
Ok.
2 coils circle the lock.
Non, je sais pas.
Queen Charlotte. All the royal family of England is there from what I can tell.
A letter from William Pitt the Elder, addressed to Emily. He was the English Prime Minister. This letter dates from 15 years ago now.
Madam, I shall never thank you enough for all your care and attention. I shall be indebted to you till my last breath. If you have any request of me, you only need ask. With regards to my son William,
Ok.
a devil's
Fouiller.
thorn, to be used to uncover the best disguised traits.
Bon, Bibiche, faut qu'on parle.
What can I do for you, Louis?
I've come to see you about last night's tragedy. Did you hear anything about what happened to Elizabeth?
Yes, we all did. Rumors spread quickly, you know. How awful. I didn't know her well, but I hope at least the poor thing didn't suffer too much.
Elizabeth was stabbed 9 times. No doubt she suffered greatly.
9 times? What monster is capable of such a horrible thing? Do you know what happened exactly?
In fact, Lord Mortimer has asked me to look into this case, Emily.
Really? Are you Lord Mortimer's snoop now?
I'm doing it for Elizabeth, not to please Mortimer.
Good for you. Quite right, too. Have you found out anything?
Je peux pas lui demander.
I'm now interviewing all the guests to establish the alibis for each person. Just so that I can cross you off the list of suspects, can you tell me what you were doing on the night of the murder?
Am I given to understand that I'm on the list of suspects?
Don't take it the wrong way, but I must consider every possibility.
Well, if you absolutely wanted to be sure of my activities that evening, you only had to join me, you know.
I know, Emily. Especially since I couldn't prevent the murder, even though I spent part
Et
of
je
it
le
with
regrette,
Elizabeth.
hein. Putain.
You're sure it's not too hard to bear for you?
The fact is, I don't have a choice. But I will find the murderer. I owe Elizabeth that, at least. Did you and Elizabeth get to know each other?
I must admit, Louis, I didn't take much interest in her. I feel a bit guilty about it, but I never actually spoke to her. She seemed burdened by her problems, and as she wasn't invited to the conference, I didn't really seek her out.
Tell me, Emily, what's the nature of your relationship with Washington?
Oh, come off it, Louis. You're not going to go into a jealous rage, are you?
No, I can assure you of that. That has nothing to do with it.
Si je lui dis que j'ai vu la lettre, ça peut peut-être la... Oh, puis merde.
You're preparing a treaty to break the ties between the United States and France.
Whatever are you talking about, Louis?
I read your correspondences, Emily.
It's not what you think. So don't go thinking there's anything personal in it.
Are you trying to break Franco-American agreements, Emily?
That's the job, Louis. We're all doing everything we can to serve the best interests of our nation. It's got nothing to do with you or us.
But why didn't you tell me about it before?
Would you have told me?
Non.
I won't keep you, Emily. Thank you for answering my questions.
See you, Louis.
Ok. Oui, on peut pas vraiment lui reprocher ça non plus. Non, pas ici. Ah, ouais, Napoléon.
The Prince by Machiavelli. A perfect read for anyone with a surfeit of ambition. That might come in handy.
Ah, politique, ça marche pas sur lui.
Hannibal crossing the Alps. Another military success. Why do I get nothing but visions of horror in my room? And he gets victory after victory? The Battle of Alexander at Issus, or how Alexander the Great triumphed over King Darius. Yet another one with delusions of grandeur.
A bicorn decorated with a cockade. It must belong to a French soldier.
Bah, lui. Ah, on va lui parler après. Pas le balcon.
Carmelite water. They say that if you drink this, it gives you a real boost. It's a beautiful weapon. A Levy Damask blade. It's marked with the initials of the manufacturer in Versailles.
Conviction non plus.
My dearest son, I'm writing to implore you to act quickly. The situation is rapidly worsening here. Paoli continues to steer our motherland, Corsica, toward open warfare between France and England. His men are everywhere. A fragment of amber. French
cool.
actor Talma is Nero in Britannicus, the last emperor of the Caesar dynasty. Vercingetorix throws down his arms at the feet of Julius Caesar by Royer, two great army chiefs.
There's just one holster in Bonaparte's gear, and the pistol is missing. On the other hand, his cleaning equipment is in mint condition. That's typical of the soldier in it.
My dear Napoleon, as previously agreed, I would like to ask you to join us in January on my island.
Ok, ça c'est l'invitation. Bon. Popo, il faut
Monsieur
qu'on
de
parle.
Vichy, please be quick. We are both very busy.
Did you hear about young Elizabeth?
Indeed, it is deeply regrettable.
Lord Mortimer asked me to...
I know. You no doubt want to know my alibi. I spent the night downstairs playing cards.
Can you tell me who was present at the game, please?
Well, there were Lord Mortimer, President Washington, and Sir Gregory.
Thank you.
Ah, and His Eminence Piaget as well. Excuse me, I nearly forgot him. Poor soul.
Did any of you leave during the game?
Not that I know of, monsieur. I didn't exactly spend my time noting the other guests' comings and goings, but I don't think so.
Thank you.
Oh, tu t'en souviens quand même. Jusqu'à quelle heure?
What time did the game end?
I can't say exactly. As for me, I must have stayed until midnight. I was exhausted, couldn't think straight, so I preferred to go up to bed.
On your way up to bed, did you notice anything out of the ordinary?
No, not in the least. The whole manor was sound asleep.
Not really. No.
Did you notice anything unusual during the evening?
Nothing at all, except the luck of the devil of Lord Mortimer and Sir Gregory at cards.
Did they win much?
Oh la la, monsieur, they cleaned us out more like. But I plan on getting it all back before we leave.
Someone saw you not far from the victim's room. Can you tell me what you were doing exactly, please?
I can tell you that someone is an idiot. I wanted to warn her to be careful. You see, on the night of my arrival, I saw someone leaving her room in haste, and I wanted to speak to her, to warn her. Unfortunately, the young lady slipped through my fingers each time. Now I know why. She had every reason to be worried. What an idiot I was not to insist. I could have helped her.
Attends, ça marche psychologie sur ce con. Ah, les cachettes. Napoléon. Oh, ça va marcher.
I've been studying him for a while now, and I don't think he was lying. Yet, I'm surprised how easy it was for me to read him. It must surely be his military side. I wish they all could be like that. My investigation would be finished already.
Well, have we finished, monsieur?
Exactly. Thanks again for all your answers. Good day.
Ok, ensuite... Ah, Perru. Ouais, je l'aime pas trop, mais... Oula.
What do you want from me, de Richet?
Greetings. It's fallen to me
Cut
that...
the crap! Get to the point. We both know why you're here.
And have you got anything to tell me?
What does it matter? It's too late anyway. Do what you have to do and get out.
It's never too late, sir. If you have something to say, now is the time.
You don't understand. Everything's already written. It's over.
Why is he behaving like the perfect culprit? What is it that's already written? I'm not sure I follow you.
No, you don't.
Ouais, mais c'est trop évident, c'est trop évident. Si c'est lui, franchement, c'est trop
The
évident.
Massacre of the Innocents by Rubens. A bit gloomy. Guess my room is not that bad.
Oh, une boîte. Faut vraiment que j'apprenne ce subterfuge. Que j'apprenne, pardon. Ah, il le dit pas. Alors, j'ignore si nous nous reverrons. Je suis prisonnier aujourd'hui, piégé par mes propres décisions. Tu dois être protégé. Mon avenir est perdu, mais tu peux encore être sauvé. Quelle que soit la rancœur que tu auras contre moi, sache que j'ai pactisé avec un diable que je pensais maîtriser. Je croyais que je connaissais les monstres, mais ce que j'ai fait pour la France n'est rien comparé à ce dont ils sont capables. Aujourd'hui, je ne vois pas l'issue. Les mâchoires se referment sur moi. Je t'aime maintenant et à jamais.
The Massacre of the Innocents, but by Van Harlem. I think that Mortimer likes to play mind games with his guests. A pattern with 4 circles.
Another painting on the Massacre of the Innocents? Nice decor for a Revolutionary Tribunal judge's room.
Records of the police. Notes intended for the police lieutenant of Paris. It's a list of people under surveillance in Paris. Man, there's some well-known names on it.
This is valuable information. This shouldn't be lying around.
Là.
Another painting on the Massacre of the Innocents?
Ah, là, j'ai trouvé la clé. Cool.
Dear friend, please come and join us. We must meet about the ongoing operations in Paris. A boat will be waiting for you in
Ok, ça c'est la vite. Et là, il n'y a rien.
A pattern with 4 circles.
Dear Monsieur Peru, I'm I'm writing to thank you for the funds you sent. These funds will be crucial for the renovation of the western wing of the orphanage. The children you sent are doing marvelously well, and little Pierre will soon be walking. Some of them still sometimes suffer nightmares about their parents on the scaffold, but I have no space left. I'll retrieve it later.
Bon, c'est pas un si mauvais gars que ça, mais bon. Immunité. Ok.
All right. Have you finished?
Not quite. I'd like you to answer a few questions.
Ok. Vous aimez frapper les femmes? Ok, donc ça apparemment, ce serait pas super.
I'd like to talk about the letter you're writing. What woman is it addressed to?
Who says it's a woman? I'm not saying any more. There's no point you insisting. All right. Have you finished?
Not quite. I'd like you to answer a few questions.
Ouais, non, ça sert à rien de lui demander comme ça.
Goodbye, sir. We shall meet again.
Probably.
Bon, on a vu tête de con. Clé à demi-cercle. Ok. Est-ce que je peux aller en haut? Je peux aller en haut. On va aller voir en haut. Ah non, en haut c'est le bureau de... Oui, c'est le bureau de... Ok. C'est le bureau de Mortimer.
The alchemist is a young man. A chest locked with a four-letter code. Surely a word close to the owner's heart.
Ok, bon, bah, je regarderai dans ce document. Il y a sûrement moyen de savoir. Alors avant.
Greek drachma. One of the rare ancient coins to be mentioned both in the Bible.
The signs of obscurantism.
Honey. I couldn't have
Ah,
hoped
cool.
for better. Sorrows of Young Werther. There's a handwritten text signed by Von Wohner on this first page. Dear Elizabeth, I know that this book is but a small token compared to the delightful moments you gave me, but I hope that this will nonetheless keep the memory alive. Your ever obedient servant. So, Wohner had a relationship with Elizabeth, but that's hardly surprising given his fondness for the occult.
Ouais, mais quand même.
A table of alchemical symbols. Someone circled the zinc symbol.
Ok, bon bah on connaît le mot.
Golden elixir.
A chest locked with a four-letter code. Surely a word close to the owner's heart.
Waouh, j'ai tout ça. La vache. Ok.
Sorrows of Young Werther.
Ah non. Ah.
There's a hand.
text signed by Von Warner on this first page. Dear Elizabeth, I know that this book is but a small token compared to the delightful moments you gave me, but I hope that this will nonetheless keep the memory alive. Your ever-obedient servant.
So, Volner had a relationship with Elizabeth. But that's hardly surprising given his fondness for the occult.
The alchemist is an old man.
A fragment of amber.
Greek drachma, one of the rare ancient coins to be mentioned both in the Bible and in the Quran.
J'aime bien comme personne ne dit rien alors que je les pille. Bon.
What can I do for you, de Richet?
Monsieur, Lord Mortimer has appointed me to investigate the tragedy that befell us last night.
Oh, yes. It's horrible. Yes. How can I help, monsieur?
Excuse me for asking, but did you know Miss Adams?
Oh, she... not really, to tell the truth. No.
I found the Werther dedication, signed by your hand, monsieur. Would you like to change your version now?
Be careful, de Richet. Don't push your luck. My relationship with Miss Adams was pure, and has nothing to do with you. Well, continue playing the detective as you see fit. But if I find the bastard who did that to Elizabeth, I will...
Yes! I would have preferred a simple response, but I see I have my answer now.
Alors, qu'est-ce qui marche sur lui? On sait pas. La relation était-elle finie? Depuis combien de temps ça dure? L'aimiez-vous?
I get the impression that your romance was over. Am I right?
So? What does it matter to you? I would never have attacked her, if that's what you're insinuating.
Who put an end to the relationship? You or her?
It was her. It was her. But what does that matter? We both agreed.
Exactly how long had you been seeing her?
I have no reason to answer you.
I see. Is that what you want me to tell Lord Mortimer when he asks what I found out?
It's only been a few weeks.
Je vais prendre une gelée. Intoxiqué. Oh, c'est chiant. Bon. Tant pis.
You loved her, didn't you?
That is none of your damn business.
Your feelings betray you, sir.
So what? Yes. I loved her, like a moth loves the flame of a candle. That's why we could never be together.
Where were you last night?
In my room. I read a few ancient manuscripts before going to bed. But I didn't stay up long. I was tired.
Thank you kindly. We finished. I'll have a look around and then take my leave.
Do whatever you have to do.
Ok. Est-ce que je peux récupérer un truc? Il me semble que je peux... Il n'y avait rien dans sa chambre que je pouvais reprendre? Bon, c'est pas grave. Du coup... Bon bah elle est morte. Hein, donc. Il y a lui... Ah, lui je peux peut-être l'interroger du coup, Mortimer. Sinon j'ai fait elle. Il me manque lui. Lui c'est fait. Lui c'est fait. Lui c'est fait. C'est fait. Peut-être essayer de trouver... Il me semble qu'ils avaient dit que sa chambre à lui elle était en haut. Mais je pense pas que je peux y accéder. Non. Bon. Bon, on va aller dans la chambre d'Elisabeth. Alors, est-ce que j'ai la clé de ça?
A chest with a half circle
Ouais, je
pattern.
l'ai.
An untutored hand copied these notes. Looks like a healing method. Well, that's a pity. Your writing is barely legible.
Bon, au moins on a des notes. Oh putain, je l'avais pas vu, il fait peur lui.
My dear Elizabeth, I'm writing to inform you of some unfortunate news. We won't be able to meet as planned on the first Sunday of May. I've been told that you're no better, and, unfortunately, your brothers and I are absolutely snowed under by the work required to govern this new country. Please, excuse me.
Ok, bon bah comme ça, moi ils pourront plus s'excuser.
Clock stopped at 3:54. If it was smashed during the murder, then I've just established the time of the crime.
Ah, d'accord.
A notebook, written in Elizabeth's handwriting. It is written in a mix of several languages. Not too easy to work out. It looks like a mixture of medieval Latin and Anglo-Norman. It is difficult to make sense of this jerky writing. I can make out some passages, though. He's coming. The demon is upon me. He's coming back to kill me. There she is. Death has come to finish me off. I've just run into her son. That was her last entry. What tortured writing.
A novel of the initiation of a young woman into polite society.
Pistol? Fairly new, I'd say. And judging by the weight of it, fairly light.
Ok, pas un flingue chez
Tribute
Bonaparte.
engraved on the barrel. To the liberators of France.
Bah tiens.
There's a few dried traces of blood on the grip. Difficult to know for sure how they got there. It's extremely well maintained. The barrel is perfectly clean. It isn't loaded, and there's no traces of gunshot residue. I'd conclude that it hasn't been used recently. Right. I shall have to find its owner. "3rd of November, 1791. My dear sister, the cancellation of our reunion hit me like a stab to the heart. Father told me it was for your well-being, but
Ok.
June 11th, 1791. my dear Elizabeth. Your last letter gave me much cause for concern.
C'était sa sœur. D'accord.
August 24th, 1792. Elizabeth, I am driven to despair and doubt there is any point.
Ok.
Piece of fabric, high quality at that. I'd say it's silk. Going by the texture and the gray hue, it must come from a dress, that kind that women of quality wear. Color doesn't correspond to Emily's black outfits, and Elizabeth doesn't have anything quite like this in her wardrobe. Let's take a closer look. It's a little dirty. It must come from the bottom of the dress where it touches the ground. I recognize that moire pattern. It's the same as the travel dress my mother was wearing when she left. Why the hell did she come into this room? Pentagram? What the hell's been going on here? Many esoteric rituals are based on this shape. Could Elizabeth have been sacrificed during an occult ritual? I wonder if Elizabeth's death has anything at all to do with this pentagram. If a ritual went wrong and degenerated, Elizabeth would probably have been killed in the center of the pentagram, not 3 meters from here. That's strange.
Oh, cool.
Vials of laudanum. The label shows that this laudanum comes straight from America. I wonder if Washington's involved.
Attends, je vais regarder ça.
Blood spatter indicates that the murder must have held Elizabeth upright during the attack. Even if Elizabeth wasn't very big, I doubt she wouldn't have put up a struggle. It takes tremendous strength to overpower someone like that. The blade is short and thin. Well sharpened, apparently. It's covered in blood. Still fresh. The lower part of the handle is unsullied by blood. The murderer gripped the weapon so tight that there's no blood where he held it. The handprint indicates a small and slender hand.
Je vais voir les autres choses avant d'utiliser mes points.
Poor girl bled to death. Whoever left that footprint has boats for feet. That's at least a size 15. Where's a size like that here? Peru? Washington, maybe. Knocked over a bottle of wine. Same thing Elizabeth served me last night. Still just as disgusting. I don't know what's happened to this wine, but it's undrinkable. There are numerous marks on the body. She must have fought like a lion. It couldn't have happened without a lot of noise. There are also a number of old scars. People who
scar themselves in this way generally do so to relieve some kind of psychological suffering. By trying to master the pain, they establish their self-control. Scarring, ugh. Scarring isn't very regular, but they're mostly from old cuts. Symbol of Masons? What's that doing here? Ancient Greek. Let's see what it means. These are sacred chants intended to protect their bearer. But from whom? Or from what? I count no fewer than 9 wounds on the thorax, with a lot of blood. First sight, I'd say that's what caused her death. It looks as though the wounds were inflicted from a precise angle, as if the murderer was standing behind Elizabeth. Some of these tattoos are veritable works of... What's that? The skin between her breasts is different. Bloody hell! This tattoo was drawn on a page of leather and stitched onto her skin. Probably during childhood. If the scars are anything to go by. It's the same kind of tattoo as on the rest of her body. No wounds, but blood on the right hand. Nothing on the left except that tattooed symbol. No marks or bruising around the wrists. Doesn't look like she was tied up or held by force. I see no sign of bruising on the skull. The only clue is a scar from a previous craniectomy. Poor Elizabeth, she must have been very young when she went through all that. That's torture. She also has old scars around the neck. Maybe mutilations. She bled from the nose. There's signs of bleeding, but I don't see any traces of bruising. What a strange smell. Laudanum. Certain courtiers use it to get drunk. If taken in large quantities, it can provoke fits of madness. Blood, but no trace of blows on the legs. More tattoos, similar to those on the rest of her body.
Est-ce que je fais bien d'utiliser ça? Je pense pas qu'il y ait eu d'agression sexuelle. Ouais, non. Je préfère utiliser sur le couteau.
The handprint on the handle is really small. I can't imagine a man with a hand that size. It must be from a woman's hand.
Has Sir finished with this room?
Do you know who could have made such a mess of this room?
Miss Adams, sir. We were given orders to leave the room as it was, so as not to rush her.
Did she have a fight with someone to get the room into this state?
Not that I know of, sir. Miss Adams would sometimes throw a tantrum, during which she would destroy anything that came to hand. Lord Mortimer told us not to enter the room.
Thanks for that information.
You are welcome, sir. Has Sir finished with this room?
I know enough now. Thank you.
Very well, sir. Sir may return whenever need be. I shall guard the door.
Alors, faut que j'aille voir Washington, Pérou et Bonaparte. Washington.
Greetings, Louis.
Were you aware that Elizabeth took laudanum?
Yes, she came to ask me for some. She had finished her reserve, I believe.
Did she tell you why she was so desperate to get some, Mr. President?
She said she had terrible migraines that wouldn't go away.
More likely for the voices she heard, not the migraines. Were you aware that Elizabeth took laudanum?
Yes, she came to ask me for some. She had finished her reserve, I believe.
Do you take it regularly, Mr. President?
Unfortunately, I do, Louis. I still suffer from a terrible toothache, and it's not likely to get any better.
It's just for that, then?
Old age, my young friend. I don't wish it upon you, but you'll soon see. At my age, it's rare to have no problems in that domain.
And do you take a lot?
A moderate amount, Louis. Only the dosage indicated on the prescription of my doctor.
Mr. President, we found a footprint at the scene of the crime.
Not a dress shoe, I hope. That's all I wear.
No, rest assured. It looks like the print of a big ankle boot. A large size, I'd say.
Perfect. That should help you, Louis. It's a clue.
Ok. Juste revérifier vite fait sa chambre, je peux pas reprendre. Non, ça je peux pas l'ouvrir. Alors, Bonaparte et Pérou. Non, ça, chaque fois je me fais avoir pour cette porte. Ah, là c'est... Non, ça c'est le cateau. Ça c'est ma chambre. On va y aller de toute façon. Là c'est Emily. Peut-être du nouveau.
Two coils circle the lock.
What can I do for you, Louis?
I found a torn piece of dress in Miss Adams' room. Gray silk.
Where's it from?
That's what I'm trying to find out. The color doesn't match any of Elizabeth's dresses, but I might not have found all of her clothes yet.
Good Lord, Louis, Do you realize what this means? If this piece of dress isn't from Elizabeth, then it's... I don't have any grey silk dresses, Louis. Neither does my sister, since we wear the same clothes.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to check with you.
I'm so sorry, Louis.
Thank you.
Are you all right? You know, I'm sure there's a good reason why your mother was at the scene.
Thank you, Emily. We found the murder weapon.
What is it?
A dagger, quite slim.
Have you found its owner?
Not yet. Still searching as it happens. That said, since the blade penetrated the body several times, the murderer's hand will have been covered in blood.
You think that's a clue?
The handprint was a very slender hand, Emily. Probably that of a woman.
Do you realize what that means? There are only 3 of us on the island. Bearing in mind that neither my sister nor myself had any reason to set upon the young lady, that means...
I know, Emily. I know.
Keep up your courage, Louis. I'm sure there's an explanation. You're bound to shed some light on it all.
If what you say is true, Emily, I'm less and less enthusiastic about shedding any light on the subject.
Ce serait pas la mère.
I won't keep you. Thank you for answering my questions.
See you, Louis.
Ah non, je crois que c'était une porte. Bonaparte.
Monsieur de Richet, please be quick. We are both very busy.
As any good soldier would, I imagine you own a firearm. May I see it?
Oh, well, if you really want to, here is my pistol. Don't worry, it is not loaded.
Do you have several of these?
In Corsica, oui, but not on me when I am traveling. Only a bandit would carry such an arsenal.
Thank you.
Well, have we finished, monsieur?
Ok, c'était pas le sien.
Exactly. Thanks again for all your answers. Good day.
Ah, le seul autre français, c'est Pérou.
Dear Monsieur, I have no space left. I'll retrieve it later.
All right. Have you finished?
Not quite. I'd like you to answer a few questions. You were armed the night of my arrival. Can I see your weapon?
No.
You do realize you're not helping, don't you? You're making it worse for yourself. I know you were at the scene. We will save a lot of time if you just tell me what happened.
You know nothing at all.
Enlighten me then. For now, I have your footprint in a pool of blood.
That's right. The only thing you can prove is one of my boots was at the scene. Congratulations. You've wrapped up the investigation. All right. Have you finished?
Not quite. I'd like you to answer a few questions.
Ça, il était en immunité, donc ça sert à rien.
Goodbye, sir. We shall meet again.
Probably.
Bon, bah on va aller voir Mortimer. Je peux pas descendre. Non. C'est chez qui là? Ah, c'est Washington.
I've come to speak about the findings of the investigation, my lord.
I'm listening, Louis.
Will you remind me of the facts we already know about?
Elizabeth Adams was killed last night, but Piaggi was with Holm and I until late at night. As for Bonaparte and Washington, they left us after midnight, both tired.
Oui, j'ai des indices, mais je veux accuser personne.
I'm sorry, my lord, but I don't have any evidence conclusive enough to allow me to name the culprit with certitude.
Really? I see. Well, that's your decision, Louis, and I accept it. Given the distinguished guests and the sensitive political issues involved at the conference, I trust you'll leave me to conclude the case in my own way. Right. It's time we spoke about your mother, Louis.
When I first came here, I wasn't that worried. In the past, my mother has taken a few liberties during her missions, including disappearing for several days on end.
That doesn't make me feel any better, Louis.
What was the official reason why my mother came to your island?
I knew about your mother's activities, and yours, in the Golden Order. I thought we had everything to gain by working together.
You mean the cannon deal with Monsieur Bonaparte?
Among others, yes. How did you hear about that?
Monsieur Bonaparte came to speak to me about it yesterday, during lunch.
I see. So impetuous. He was supposed to let me speak to you about it first. Our friend Napoleon desperately needed financial backing to properly equip his army. I took it upon myself to back him because I have a firm conviction that he can go far. Yet he told me that you had spoken and that you hadn't been able to reach an understanding.
That's putting it mildly.
Oh, j'ai un petit peu foiré.
Is one of those guys who only understands people who think like he does.
Ah, I see what you mean. He is indeed rather inflexible when it comes to certain subjects. But I am still of the opinion that you can manage to get along.
We shall see. However, there's one thing that surprises me. Isn't Bonaparte a bit young to deserve so much attention?
Well, you come straight to the point. I like that. Indeed, if you knew just how much you remind me of him. Trust me, I'll wager that Monsieur Napoleon will soon prove himself. I'm working on it, at least. Once this deal was closed, I had big plans for Sarah.
Such as what?
You see, I've invited several influential figures on my island to present them with a project at the conference. It will be presented later today. I thought that the Golden Order had a role to play. And I still think so. I was hoping Sarah would be able to join us.
I see.
Indeed, if by chance your mother decided not to return to us before the conference, would you do me the great honor of attending? If only to follow the deliberations while waiting for her to duly take her seat.
Why not? We shall see.
Ah, thank you so much. In this way, you'll be able to keep your mother informed of what he said. There's something else I'd like to briefly go over. Earlier, you asked me the official reason for your mother's presence here. Is there an off-the-record reason why your mother came here?
If only my mother had trusted me, but she remained very mysterious. I'd have been delighted to answer your question.
Is this usual for her?
As head of the Order, secrets are her bread and butter, as you can imagine. That said, it's the first time she hasn't let me in on the reason for her trip. And it intrigues me, to tell you the truth.
Well, I'm sure that Sarah will explain everything once she reappears. There's something I still don't get. In your opinion, why would your mother remain in hiding over several weeks?
Non, elle n'est pas devenue folle.
Maybe she found something out.
What do you mean?
My mother has a gift for investigating. If she had picked up a lead, nothing would have stopped her.
The only thing I can tell you is that Sarah had indeed changed. At the beginning of her stay here, we enjoyed spending time together, solving the world's problems.
You seem to know my mother very well, my lord. What did you talk about together?
Oh, as soon as we had a little free time, we liked to share points of view about practically any subject. We would find ourselves embarked on interminable discussions that could go from Monsieur Blanchard's flight in a hot air balloon to the Treaty of Jassy, or the adoption of the metric system in France last year, or even Mr. Eli Whitney's invention in the United States.
The armistice between the Russians and the Turks. Russia's come out of it having officially won Crimea, which gives it direct access to the Black Sea.
And, at the same time, the Mediterranean Sea. I'm worried about the decisions Tsarina Catherine might decide to take. She's a woman who managed to get rid of her husband to accede to the upper reaches of power. Gaining access to the Mediterranean Sea remains her main objective. When she still had that dear Potemkin as her lover, I could always find out about her intentions, but those days are over.
You're speaking of Grigory Alexandrovich Potemkin?
The very man. The little devil behind the mother of all Russians. Since his death, I know absolutely nothing of what the Tsarina is up to.
Oh, really?
Ah, yes. I didn't mean to shock you. Please forgive me. Let's just say that, in my position, it is often advantageous to know about the habits and customs of world leaders.
I'm surprised she didn't get you started on the Crusades. It was her favorite subject.
Are you joking? Sarah and I spent entire days together reliving them. It so happens that the Crusades are also my subject of predilection, especially the third. My ancestor distinguished himself brilliantly during the siege of Saint-Jean d'Acre.
Mother lulled my childhood with tales of the Crusades. How Richard the Lionheart and Philip Augustus had to battle it out to achieve their ends. And how Guy de Lusignan, having broken his word, launched the siege of Saint-Jean d'Acre.
Oh, I see Sarah's lessons have inspired new enthusiasts. Good on you, because not everyone can claim they know as much at your age. Your mother is a very well-read woman. You're quite lucky to have her as a model, Louis.
Yes, I know, but I'm still very worried.
I must admit, there are worse things to worry about now, Louis.
What do you mean?
Since she disappeared, your mother has been seen once. Her behavior on the evening of your arrival greatly surprised Gregory and myself. She resurfaced to attack Emma, Emily Hillsborough's twin sister. And she shot her with a pistol. Then, before Gregory could intervene, she ran off and disappeared again.
I beg your pardon? Hang on.
That means my vision on the wharf, it was actually happening inside the manor. Mother shot Emily's sister? The very person she came looking for? Why would she do that?
Excuse me, but between that and the childhood of Lady Adams, it's all a bit much for me to cope with. I need to piece it all together again to see things more clearly. You said that you spent a lot of time talking together at the beginning. What happened for that to change?
I'm afraid I haven't much to tell you. The more the days went by, the more she withdrew into herself. She never gave me an explanation, until the day came when she purely and simply disappeared.
Where did she go when she wanted to be alone?
She would shut herself away in a room we use as a box room upstairs.
Would you allow me to go there?
Naturally, Louis, of course. I'll send you a servant to open it.
Thank you.
That's all I can tell you about the disappearance of your mother, Louis. I would like to have been more helpful.
I shall stay on her trail and follow up any leads.
Thank you. We will meet later on to welcome our last guest. In the meantime, I shall get someone to open the box room upstairs for you.
Thank you.
The room is just opposite Mortimer's study.
Ok, bon. C'est ça. Ouais, c'est ça.
There are burnt papers in the chimney. There's a legible fragment left. Hey, I recognize my mother's handwriting. She says, we must find a safer way to communicate. Someone is onto us. Trust in my faith in the man with the sword. So Mother had an accomplice here. Who could it be? Who could she be suspicious of? We must find the next part. Faith, sword. I recognize her love of riddles there.
Ok.
Dante's Paradise. Raise your head and be reassured, for what comes up here from the mortal world must ripen in our rays.
What is this disc? St. Paul on the road to Damascus by Caravaggio. Caravaggio attained a magnificent command of black and the play of colors too. Paul facing an ordeal, the curtains of his illusions being raised, and receives the light from his Savior.
Non, je préfère pas utiliser. Ok. De trouver un moyen pour fiez-vous ma foi en l'homme en l'épée.
A drachma.
Il n'y a rien d'autre.
The door appears to be locked on the other side. I think I heard something fall to the ground. A metallic sound, like a key falling to the floor. We'll see if it works.
Oh, les strates.
It's open.
A chest with the occult symbol representing air.
Difficulté 7. D'accord.
A drawing of the Apostle Matthew, painted by Guido Rini. He's represented as writing the word of the Lord, transmitted by the Holy Spirit, who appears here in the guise of an angel. The New Testament. I guess I'll just come back later.
Ouais, on va attendre vite fait.
St. John, painted by Guido Rini. St. John is known as the youngest of Christ's apostles. Well, we often give credit to St. John for having written about the apocalypse in the last book of the Bible.
Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni. Looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust. Painting of Saint Mark from the collection of the apostles by Guido Reni.
A fragment of amber.
Ah, cool.
St. Paul painted by Guido Reni. St. Paul is shown holding a sword. Strange. There's hardly any dust. As if the painting's been cleaned recently. There's a small inscription engraved on the frame. Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his pilgrims from Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11 on the painting and underlined it twice. No, what does that mean? Of the 4 apostles shown in this piece, Paul is the only one who isn't an evangelist. He is the 13th apostle.
Alors attends,
Honey, the remedy
Cool.
of the gods.
je vais en utiliser un. On va lire le bouquin. Oh putain. Oh la vache. Ok, bon, je
Guess I'll
pense
just
que...
come back later.
Ouais, on va, on va attendre un peu. On va récapituler vite fait.
St. Paul. So we have the figure 11 twice underlined, and a story of a group of pilgrims who it looks like Paul is speaking to. Maybe it's a code. There must be a connection. A text on Paul must be somewhere, and it must be associated with the figure 11. But what's the story with these pilgrims? I mean, a connection with the figure, maybe?
Alors. Épître Paul. C'est pas là. C'est quoi?
This volume dates from the first edition of Gutenberg. It's the first book that was ever printed. Pages are covered in annotations in Latin, French, and Hebrew. Someone spent years studying this Bible. This book is incredibly precious. I believe this is the book my mother referred to when calling upon the Lord.
Ah non. Alors on va chercher le numéro 11.
And it came to pass the day after that he went into a city called Nain, and many of his disciples went with him, and much people. Then they suborned men, which said, "We have heard him speak blasphemous words against Moses and against God." Volume of the Gutenberg Bible. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid, but rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy. Oh, wait. A note from Mother is carefully folded between the pages here. What does it say? Dear E, I'm glad you found this note. I was afraid the code of the 2 groups of pilgrims would mislead you. Pick up the package. You know where, and hide it where no one will find it. It's imperative, awaiting your reply, hidden behind the youngest apostle. What? The youngest apostle? What does Mother mean by that?
Le plus jeune c'est lui alors.
The painting looks like it's been taken down recently. But wasn't my mother said that she would wait for an answer hidden behind the apostle? Ah, of course. There's something written behind the painting. On the second day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add one companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean? St. John, painted by Guido Rini. St. John is the only apostle painted in this gallery who hasn't got a beard. Hey, wait! That means it's him. He's the youngest apostle.
Bon, ça servait à rien.
Right. This painting is therefore associated with the answer which E had to give to my mother. Now, I just need to know how to recover the answer. On the second day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add one companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean? Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Rini. It looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust. There's nothing worth noticing here. There are finger marks, deliberately drawn in the dust. 8 in all. Little characters are engraved on the chest of drawers under the urn. It's a sentence in Hebrew. It says, "Count in the dust." All right, let's do it. No,
Cuite.
nothing of value here. It's too cumbersome for me to unhook here, but judging by the dust, it hasn't been moved for months, if not years.
Oui, et lui, c'est qui déjà?
Painting of Saint Mark.
Mark.
In the collection of the apostles by Guido Rini.
Cuite, Marc. Et lui.
There's something else behind this painting. It says, half of each group will join the first city of Corinth. What the hell does that mean? And he became very hungry and would have eaten, but while they were made ready, he fell into a trance. Hey, there's a note here. A message from Mother in reply to E. We must leave urgently, but first I absolutely must go beyond the nightmare. Watch out for Volner. He figured out I was avoiding him. Allay suspicion. See you tomorrow evening. Stand ready. For now, let's cease all communication until we meet. Take care of yourself. I suppose this must be the last message. What happened afterward? If it's what I suspect, I fear the worst. What did Mother mean by, I absolutely must go beyond the nightmare? I must go beyond the nightmare. What does she mean by that? I'm guessing it's a metaphor. I need to figure out what this means. Mortimer's getting his guests together. I ought to join them so I don't look suspicious.
Ok. J'ai pas compris le message. Ah mais merde, je pensais qu'il fallait que j'y aille tout de suite en fait. Bon, bah, tant pis. Alors, 4 points. J'ai bien envie de tout mettre en subterfuge. Science, comme ça. Agilité, j'en ai pas eu encore besoin. Manipulation, non plus. Occultisme. Et puis subterfuge aussi. Alors, 3 bouquins. Interrogatoire, érudition, manipulation, linguistique, occultisme, diversion. J'en mettrai en manipulation. Politique, interrogatoire, érudit. Étiquette, je pense pas. Politique, ça peut servir.
It's time I went back and joined everyone in the small salon.
You are expected in the small salon, sir.
Emily, I must speak to you.
What's the matter, Louis?
I have news about your sister.
What have you found out?
Look, I've started piecing together the events leading up to my mother's disappearance and your sister's. Did my mother know about your secret?
Yes, even though I belong to the English chapter, her rank in the Order gives her access to a good deal of personal information.
Must have been Emma I saw in my vision.
I was given to understand that my mother and your sister bonded during their stay. I've got a question that might seem a little bit strange.
I'm listening.
If I said go beyond the nightmare, would that ring any bells?
No, means nothing to me. Do you mean literally or figuratively speaking?
It might be a place, I don't know where, but it's a lead.
You ought to ask His Eminence. He knows the house and its estate very well, being a frequent visitor here.
Thanks for the advice.
Should I speak to her about my vision? If what I saw is true, she might want to take revenge.
Ah, pour le moment, elle a... Oh, on va être honnête.
Emily, there's something else.
Go on then.
It's about your sister. I don't know what happened exactly, but it's possible that my mother had a go at her.
I know, Louis. I found out that same evening. Well, thanks for not trying to hide it.
What? Why didn't you tell me?
I didn't know if I could trust you. Now I know I can. It seems that your mother tricked Emma. She apparently asked her to hide an important book, so that even she wouldn't know where it was. And then she shot her like a dog to make sure no one would ever find it again.
How did you find out?
Sir Gregory told me on my arrival.
I'm sincerely sorry, Emily.
Thank you, Louis. But you do realize your mother will have to accept the consequences of her acts.
There must be an explanation, Emily.
That's what we shall see. Come, Louis. They're waiting for us.
You will pay dearly, Peru. I'm sure you were involved somewhere along the line. That's right. Pretend you don't know. One piece of advice. Don't travel through France on your way back, or it'll cost you dearly.
Calm now, my friends. Let's calm down. Everyone seems to be a little unnecessarily heated. don't forget where you are, please.
What's going on here exactly?
Sir Gregory called us together to introduce the last guest.
But hardly had we arrived when he set upon Monsieur Peru.
And who is this charming character?
Manuel Godoy, the Duke of La Alcudia.
He's the head of the Spanish government, Monsieur de Richet. He's the one who, in practice, controls Spain.
How could you dare do such a thing? Dios mío, you are all out of your minds!
Really, Duke Manuel? What made you kick up such a fuss?
What? Have you not heard? Well, let me inform you that yesterday morning at 10:22 a.m. precisely, in the middle of the Place de la Révolution in Paris, by decree of the National Convention which Monsieur Peru works for, King Louis was guillotined.
What? Oh, no.
The King of France is dead, gentlemen. Our monarchies are in danger. I have said it before. How dare they?
Oh, dear.
Oh, as if...
Friends, let us calm down.
Don't pretend to be surprised. He got a fair trial. Ridiculous. Bastard. He was sentenced to death by 361 votes to 360. You beheaded a king for one vote. Is that your democracy?
What an obnoxious act. Until this, anything was possible. This political coup will have grave consequences.
France is lost.
Gentlemen, please. Let us take a step back a moment.
In the name of holiness. He was the highest representative of God in France, Emily.
Gentlemen, Duchess, we're all among people of reputable company here. We should be able to manage the conflicts of our nations in a respectful and orderly manner.
I fully agree with you, sir.
But
That's enough, sir.
with whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
Louis Maras de Richet.
Are you related to Sarah de Richet?
Sarah is his mother, Duke. Gentlemen, this news affects us all, but I must ask you to remain calm. It's not the first time history has taken us by surprise. Let's ensure that our respective countries are allowed to respond appropriately to this news.
Oh, rest assured. The response will not fall short, my friend.
Good for you. Well, Your Grace, here I was preparing to introduce you as is proper, and you've beaten me to it. I'm delighted that we are all together at last. Our meeting will therefore be able to kick off shortly. I have just a few more little preparations to take care of before you all find out the reason for your presence here. In the meantime, I shall leave you to get to know one another. When you hear the bell, please proceed to the conclave room on my left, behind that door. I'll see you later.
Could you spare a moment, please, sir?
I'm glad you asked. I want to talk to you too.
Of course.
Oh,
I
merde.
heard about your mother's disappearance.
He looks concerned. I don't know why, but I doubt it's from sympathy alone. Well, let's see what he wants from me.
Alors attends, avant de possiblement foirer. Il est où? Holmer. Là. Ah putain, je sais rien sur lui.
Any news of her? Have you found her, maybe?
We found traces of her that would indicate she's still on the island.
Her personal belongings?
Yes, but nothing of great interest. Scraps of food, some clothes.
Ah, I see. Well, too bad.
Et merde.
I shan't keep you, Monsieur de Richet.
Ouais.
All right then.
Je suis nul à chier à
Thank
ces
you.
trucs.
I hope that your search will prove successful and bring Sarah back to us soon. I must go now. I'll see you later.
Bon, voilà, j'ai tout foiré. Alors ça.
There's a pattern with 5 circles on this chest.
Ouais, et je l'avais.
I have no space left. I'll retrieve it later. Hey, these look like pages taken from an ancient encyclopedia. Chronicles of the Amber Princes. As I recall, Dorkin was my favorite character.
Monsieur Bonaparte, may I speak with you a moment?
May we?
Does expression "go beyond the nightmare" mean anything to you at all?
Well, metaphorically, yes. It sums up the career of a soldier quite well. I doubt that is what you want to hear, though.
Indeed.
That's surely not what I'm looking for.
Well, monsieur, if you are looking for a phrase book, Lord Mortimer must surely have one, given the number of books he has. You ought to check in the library of the tower. You never know.
Would you have any more information about the conference Lord Mortimer spoke of?
Nothing at all. Mortimer is very committed to secrecy when it comes to his conferences. But given the presence of Monsieur Peru and ourselves, I think it must concern France to some extent. Otherwise, I doubt he would have invited 3 Frenchmen to his table, huh?
What do you think of Duke Godoy?
Well, I'd rather not express any opinion of him.
Why is that?
His reputation is enough for me.
Attends, je sais plus si ça. Je crois pas que ça marche sur lui. Là. Ah, c'est conviction et politique qui marche pas.
Meaning?
This gentleman enjoys people talking about him for too many reasons. His undeserved titles, more than 10 in just 4 years, and each one more prestigious than the one before.
You don't think he deserves them?
If I had seen him on the battlefield, there might be some doubt. But that is not the case. The Queen would rather not risk losing him, so she consoles him with awards and titles.
So you don't have a very positive opinion?
His coveting French Catalonia does not encourage me to have one.
I understand your point of view. Well, I'll be leaving you now. Shall we meet up again later?
Wait, monsieur. Any news of your mother?
Unfortunately not, no.
I hope to speak with her about my deal before I leave. Let me know if you find her. À plus tard, monsieur.
Bon, moi, il y a personne.
What can I do for you, sir? I am at your service day and night, sir.
As I was unable to bring my personal effects with me, I was wondering if you could find me a few items.
Of course, sir. What would you require?
My good fellow, would you have any amber available?
I would, but unfortunately, I don't think I am authorized to give it out, sir. I believe it is a precious stone.
Je vais pas dépenser tous mes points juste pour un morceau d'or. Tiens, Washington.
Go beyond the nightmare. Does
this line remind you of anything in particular?
You caught me unaware here, Louis. Let me think about it a second. No, nothing comes to mind. Sorry, Louis, but I am unable to help you.
Well, thank you for your time.
Don't mention it, my young friend. Regarding your question on the nightmare, don't hesitate to question the others about it. Maybe one of them knows more than I do.
That's a good idea. Thank you once again. I'll see you in a little bit.
Il faut que je trouve son éminence. Ah bah voilà.
Ah, Louis. Just the man. Good Lord. How did the king come to be executed? I would think that the order would have intervened.
Your Eminence, I haven't been following the case. I'm sure that the Order did everything in its power. Unfortunately, you know the situation in Paris, and, well, it's chaotic at best. Anything can happen in those revolutionary tribunals.
The king is the official representative of God on earth, my son.
Your Eminence, France has become a secular state. The king was just another citizen to them. He refused to admit his errors, looked down upon them, and attempted to escape. What did he expect?
France has lost all reason, Louis.
I invite you to speak about it with my mother as soon as she reappears.
Is there any news of her?
Well, I hope it won't be long before I find her, Your Eminence.
Now you wanted to speak to me.
If I say the nightmare to you, does it make you think of anything?
Your question is strange, my son. Difficult to say. Could you at least tell me a little more about the context?
Think of a place and tell me the first thing that comes into your mind when I say the nightmare.
Let me think. I'd say Lord Mortimer's favorite painting on the wall behind his desk. You know, that painting caused quite a stir when it was exhibited. It is titled The Nightmare, and it shows a woman lying down with a creature sitting on her, and in the background, a horse. I don't know if it would be of any help, but I can't think of anything else.
You never know. Thank you for that, though, Your Eminence. I gotta go and see it just in case, though. Thank you for everything, Your Eminence. I shan't take up any more of your time.
You are welcome, my son. I will be seeing you.
Eh ben, on va y aller tout de suite. Hein.
What do you want, Louis? You're leaving me?
Unfortunately, I have things to do. Thank you again, madam.
Et te coiffe pas trop, sinon le corset il va péter.
So, what did my mother mean by going beyond the nightmare? Let's take a closer look.
dark chocolate beans. Very bitter. They're greatly prized in high society. No, what have we got here? Well, it looks like a model of a lock. It's as if Mortimer is fond of complicating things sometimes. Well, I hope I never have to try and unlock it. Honey, I couldn't have hoped for better. Might come in handy.
Moi je prends tout, hein, comme ça.
A painting about a siege dated. A mina bird. Sarah de Riche? Waldo, you know Sarah?
Well, Waldo, is your master good?
A mina bird.
Je pense pas que le chocolat soit une bonne idée. Merde.
What have I done? Looks like I've killed him. Oh, shit. I better not hang around.
Oh le con. Pourquoi je lui ai donné aussi? Bon, vite.
The nightmare painted by Fuseli in 1781. Ah, this must be what my mother was talking about. Now just need to find out what she meant by go beyond. Hey, looks like it's mounted on rails on each side. It should lift up, I think. There must be a mechanism somewhere. I don't think this book can help me. No. Let's look elsewhere.
Désolé.
No mechanism here. No mechanism here. The nightmare painted by Fuseli in 1781. Ah, this must be what my mother was talking about. Now just need to find out what she meant by go beyond. Hey, looks like it's mounted on rails on each side. It should lift up, I think. There must be a mechanism somewhere. Aha! I found it. Oh, what on earth is this? A ring lock now? Great. That's all I needed. Looks like there's a marker on number 1 on the second roller.
doesn't matter.
Pensez à réduire la consommation de bois l'année prochaine. « 9127 peut-être.
Looks like there's a marker on number 1 on the second roller.
Ah d'accord, il dit que ça. Bon, c'est déjà pas mal.
Well, I got it wrong. It doesn't matter.
Alors, je vous écris concernant les dates des tableaux que je vous ai fait parvenir au restaurant. Veuillez noter que ces derniers, faisant partie de ma collection privée, sont datés selon le calendrier franco-maçon. Comme vous devinez donc, il faudra penser à retirer 4000 ans si vous voulez que le public ne s'étonne pas de la datation de cette œuvre. D'accord. Inutile de vous rappeler que l'année malconique commence en mars et pas en janvier. Concernant le tableau de Longinus, je me suis permis de faire retoucher sa lance afin de lui correspondre à sa véritable lance.
A painting depicting the Third Crusade. It's titled Winter Before the Fall of Saint-Jean d'Acre. The Siege of Saint-Jean d'Acre was a major conflict during the Third Crusade. Richard the Lionheart and Philip Augustus fought to take the town back. It was the Crusaders' first operation to take back the kingdom of Jerusalem. William Alexander Mortimer I, the 12th month of Anno Lucis, 5190. It's a funny date.
Donc 1190 peut-être.
Damn it. I really thought I was close. 1,190. Isn't the right date when you subtract 4,000? I must have missed a subtlety.
Hey, there are two dates on this painting. 1154 AD and 5154 AL.
Donc 1154.
Well, I got it wrong. It doesn't matter.
This painting isn't finished. It looks like Mortimer probably did it. Not bad, but you can't exactly say it's been done in the style of the period. Hey, there are two dates on this painting. 1154 AD and 5154 AL.
Alors c'est peut-être 5000 du coup.
Well, I got it wrong. It doesn't matter.
William Alexander Mortimer I, the 12th month of Anno Lucis, 5190. It's a funny date.
doesn't work. 5,190. I was pretty sure it was right. Maybe I didn't use the right dating system. Doesn't work, damn it. I really thought I was close. 1,190. Isn't the right date when you subtract 4,000? I must have missed a subtlety.
Ça commence en mars. Ah oui, ça commence en mars, pas en janvier.
Still not working. I get the impression I counted the wrong way. It must be 1 year more then, right?
Voilà.
Open sesame. Let's see what you've been hiding, Lord Murderer. Moreover, it shows a fair number of sea voyages being organized towards the American continent. No doubt with slaves. How many men are broken in this trade? Tens of thousands each year, according to what people say.
Alors, cher Lord Vortimer, je me permets de vous écrire pour que vous puissiez convaincre le président Washington de ne pas signer le fugitif Slade Act en l'état. Nous devons absolument légiférer au niveau national et non permettre à chaque État de choisir sa politique concernant les esclaves. Initialement prévu afin de régler un conflit entre la Pennsylvanie et la Virginie, il reste compte de légaliser la chasse aux Noirs. Des hommes plus scrupuleux deviennent chasseurs d'esclaves et incapables d'en trouver en fuite, se mettent à capturer le premier Noir venu en faisant passer pour un fugitif recherché. La situation risque de vite dégénérer, merci d'avance. Ok.
Great, honey.
My Lord, j'espère que mon pli sera parvenir jusqu'à vous. Mes heures sont comptées. Mon imprimerie m'a été confisquée. Je suis enfermé aux forteresses de Schusselburg. Si par chance vous pouviez intervenir en ma faveur, je serais tellement redevable. La tsarine Catherine ne devrait plus tarder à interdire toute loge de l'ordre doré sur son territoire. Notre horizon s'assombrit considérablement. Dans l'espoir que vous puissiez m'aider, Nikolai Novikov.
Weakness of the Human Psyche by Guillaume Trimore. He says, it is possible to drill an idea into someone by constant daily repetition until the mind gives in. And goes on, there are hundreds of good ways to live life, but you only need one to convince the masses that it's the only one possible. The author isn't letting any ethical principles get in his way, is he?
Alors, Lord Vortimer, j'ai le regret de vous informer qu'après sur russe, nanana.
Map of the Orient, indeed. It's locked.
This shows the forces present in America.
Ouais, donc il est bien présent un peu partout, le gars.
This is my mother's writing. I've picked up her trail. What is she up to? Obviously, she wants to lure Mortimer somewhere, but where? The only clue she's left for Mortimer is a stone sword. It must be intentional. It looks like a decorative sword, like from a statue, for example. And judging by the state of it, I'm guessing it's been left outside for a long time. I've absolutely got to find out where it came from. Shows the forces present in Europe. It's clear that France is surrounded by her enemies. However, a large number has been underlined in bold. 26 million. I know what it is. It's an estimation of my country's population. All our neighbors have far fewer inhabitants. Preservation using formaldehyde. Just as disgusting as ever. Strange. I don't recognize the alphabet. I wonder where the pictograms are from. It isn't Egyptian or Hebrew. There are two inscriptions on the sides as well as on the top. No way to know what's underneath. Absolutely no idea what it's for, but I find this cue fascinating. Looks like obsidian or onyx. Must weigh a ton. These are feathers. Pigeon, probably. A skeleton by the name of Gustav. If the plaque on the plinth is anything to go by. Mortimer's given a name to his anatomy skeleton. That's morbid.
Also mignon.
Oh, his right hand is missing. Something strange about this table. The little surgeon's perfect collection. What kind of experiments does Mortimer carry out here? It's a dissection table. So Mortimer does autopsies here on his desert island. But who was he doing autopsies on then? That must be for writing the home pigeon messages. An iron mask. I wonder who it's for.
Carmelite water will give me a little reprieve.
Chest with a motif representing the alchemical symbol of fire.
A table of alchemical elements.
So, Lord Mortimer also studies alchemy? It seems like he's interested in everything. Am I seeing things, or is that an actual von Leeuwenhoek microscope? Incredible.
Mortimer really is at the cutting edge of science. Even at the Order, it took us ages to get one of those. 3 rusty old nails. They're about 20 centimeters long.
Some goat skulls, chicken legs. Now we all know what that's for.
I'm a little surprised at Mortimer. I didn't seem as the type to be organizing little pagan parties, invoking occult powers, and dancing naked under the full moon. I'm more used to seeing cheap charms like this sold by charlatans in Pré Saint-Gervais. Look, a pack of tarot cards. Has he been reading the cards? Mortimer? That would surprise me. It is a typical draw on a line that answers a specific question. To the left, temperance, that announces a reward for one who patiently waits before taking any action. And in the middle, the chariot, which symbolizes triumph and business success. To the right, the emperor evokes a future full of power and stability. It's locked. Oh shit. How am I gonna get out of here now?
Ah, juste. Non, c'était combien? 1191. Alors c'est chiant à viser. Voilà. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9.
This looks like the same mechanism as the one on the other side. Looks like the same as the one on the other side. Whoa, whoa. The grid closes a bit more every time I enter a wrong date. I better not mess up again. Yet I'm sure there's a connection with the date that I'd entered earlier to open the door. Maybe I'm not approaching the problem from the right angle. It's locked.
Ouais, c'était bien 1191 le truc.
This looks like the same mechanism as the one on the other side. These cylinders rotate on the same central axis, so when I enter a number on one side, it corresponds to another one on the other side. These cylinders rotate on the same central axis, so when I enter a number on one side, it corresponds to another one on the other side.
Du coup, ce serait 5. Attends. De 6. 6, 3, 7, 4, 8, 5, 9. Non, plutôt 0, 5, 1, 6, 2, 7, 3, 8, 4, 9. J'avais dit 0,5.
This looks like the same mechanism as the one on the other side.
Yes. Bon, ça va, du deuxième coup.
Well, better not dwell on it then.
Ah, vite, j'ai tué son piaf, il peut s'en rendre compte. Hop. Ok, donc j'ai pas eu l'info. Ouais, j'ai pas eu l'info au fichier. Ah, j'aurais pu rencontrer Perru. Bon, c'est pas grave. Alors, science, étiquette, érudition, linguistique, occultisme. Ah oui, mais j'ai pas eu de... Bon, écoute, je vais tout mettre en interrogatoire. Ah non. Logique. Logique ou diversion? Est-ce que j'ai ça? Non. J'ai érudition, science, étiquette. Ah bah voilà.
This note is about a meeting with Lord Mortimer. There's no doubt about it. Alright, I need to find out where the sword that came with it's from in order to find Mother.
You're joking, I hope. Don't tell me you've done that.
Really? How do you expect me to guess?
Oh, for God's sake, just ask them. We must absolutely inform Sir Gregory. How long has he been trying to collect all the spears?
I must have brought him the first one 20-odd years ago.
Do you know if he has managed to get the original?
Well, in any case, he's got all the ones we had at the Vatican. He made me replace them with copies. But I don't understand your reaction. I'm sure it is nothing serious.
I can see very well you do not understand. You have done nothing less than sign our death warrants, and still you don't understand.
Someone is listening.
What?
Monsieur de Richet, why not join us rather than find yourself eavesdropping?
I didn't want to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
Of course you didn't. So, my son, what can we do for you?
I was wondering if you might have seen an object like this, here, at the manor.
What are you playing at, de Richet?
I'm afraid I can't help you, my son. Ask someone who knows the manor better than I do. One of the servants, for example. One of them is bound to help you.
Thank you for your advice, Your Eminence. I didn't mean to spy on you, but you caught my attention.
Alors attends, je sais pas si psychologie, il y en a un des deux qui est... Non. Ah, ils sont où, c'est con. Lui. Interrogatoire et manipulation, lui, il est... Et lui, on sait pas.
Your Eminence, I don't know what you said to Mr. von Boldenow, but the poor fellow looks positively crestfallen.
Not at all.
Don't you believe it, Louis? I was just telling Monsieur about Lord Mortimer's burning passion for holy relics. You must have noticed he's a bit of a collector. Well, for years, he has been searching high and low to bring all the copies of the Holy Spear together. As I was coming here, I'd bring him a few of them. That's all.
Be quiet, for God's sake. Please leave us, monsieur. His Eminence and I wish to finish our discussion alone.
Ok, bon, je dois choper un serviteur.
There's the alchemical symbol of the earth on the lid.
A drachma. Honey, I couldn't have hoped for better.
I am sorry, sir, but the conference room is under preparation and is consequently inaccessible to guests.
Could you perhaps help me?
What can I do for you, sir?
Where did this sword come from?
From the garden, sir. That sword belongs to one of the statues in the garden.
Thank you very much.
Don't mention it, sir.
Et bon, on va y aller, je crois que je suis jamais allé au jardin en plus.
Song of old. Roland feeleth his death is near. His brain is oozing by either ear. With his brain oozing, it's already remarkable that he can feel anything.
Lui, j'ai pas besoin de lui parler. Ah, je suis déjà venu là.
The sword probably came from his garden, but what could it have been used for? Ariadne. In Greek mythology, she helped Theseus get through the labyrinth. Looks like there's a crack in the region of the heart. I guide the sword that will kill the monster. Let's see. crack as long as my finger. What's going to happen if I've got it wrong? Ariadne. Try something else.
Tête de con, il sait peut-être quelque chose.
Well, Monsieur de Richet, what brings you here?
I'm still looking for my mother, of course.
You're right, Monsieur. Keep looking. Good luck to you.
Pas envie de perdre mon temps avec lui.
Pasiphae, daughter of Perseus and sister of Circe. She married Minos and became the queen of Crete.
She has no cracks. Alright, let's continue anyways. I wonder what this kiosk is doing in the middle of the garden. Too cramped to be able to do much. Well, there must be something going on there. What is that? It's like a sort of opening mechanism. Lord Mortimer, I bet it's booby-trapped. There's a little hole at the fingers. Pretty sure if I get it wrong, I'll get pricked. Damn you, Mortimer. Reminds me of traps I studied in Egyptian tombs.
Ah, c'est pour ça qu'il manquait la main droite sur le...
Lord Mortimer, I bet it's booby-trapped.
Sur le squelette.
There's a little hole at the fingers. Pretty sure if I get it wrong, I'll get pricked. Damn you, Mortimer. Reminds me of traps I studied in Egyptian tombs. It looks like this slab moves. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a passageway underneath it. It's up to the just to deliver judgment. Truth unlocks all possibilities. Minos, son of Zeus and Europa. If I remember correctly, he was the king of Crete. Married to Pasiphae, he had many children, including the famous Ariadne, whom history remembers for her thread. Hey, there's a crack in that statue. His gesture sealed his fate. The crack is in the region of the heart. It's a thin crack as long as a finger. A blade could easily enter.
On va attendre. J'ai pas confiance.
Minos. Asterion. It is rare to see him like this. In general, he's represented with the head of a bull, with the features of the Minotaur, the famous son of Minos and Pasiphae. Asterion was the son of Pasiphae and Minos, or rather the result of a curse put on Minos. Minos was punished for betraying Poseidon. Of course, as strangely it often happens, it wasn't he who was punished, it was his wife. She had to mate with a bull, no less. From that union, Asterion was born, who everyone knows as the famous Minotaur. Rejected by Minos, he was shut up in the labyrinth so he could never leave. And, as if that wasn't bad enough, he died by the hand of a hero desperate to restore his reputation. Technically, Asterion is the victim of the story because he's described as a child cast out from birth. Born from an extramarital union because of the errors of his father, he was treated as an outcast all his life. And he died as innocently as he was born. A tragic story, as the Greeks knew how to do so well. I am the cursed child. Let's go. Theseus, son of Aegeus. He's the one who slayed the Minotaur. Looks like a crack has been made on his torso. As long as a finger. I'd say between 6 and 8 centimeters. Theseus. Let's try something else instead. Asterion. This statue has a crack in it. The crack is thin and about as long as a finger. I should be able to thrust in my sword. Right. We'll soon see.
Il me semble que quand j'avais mis celle d'Ariane, ça avait fait un bruit.
Ariadne. Let's see.
Ah non, ça n'a pas fait de bruit.
Ariadne. If I recall the Iliad, Ariadne is none other than the daughter of Minos and Pasiphae. She was in love with Theseus and helped him in his quest to kill the Minotaur in return for a promise of marriage, if he defeated the monster. She gave him a reel of thread so that he could find his way back through the labyrinth, which was famous for being unsolvable. But once the beast was slain, the gallant was quick to abandon her on an island. Turns out heroes are not what they once were. Try something else.
pas envie de me tromper en fait.
Golden elixir. I'll keep it for later. Pasiphae, daughter of Perseus and sister of Circe. She married Minos and became the queen of Crete. Deliverance alone suffices not to wash away my humiliation. All right, well, let's continue anyways.
Elle on s'en fout, elle a pas de... Ah, il y en a un autre là, moi je l'avais pas vu.
Icarus. Son of Daedalus and Nocrate. Impossible to mistake him with those wings. After flying too close to the sun, he came unstuck and he fell to his death. Pity. Hey, there's no crack here. Well, let's keep going.
Je vais essayer sur celle de Minos.
Asterion.
Enfin, Astérion.
This statue has a crack in it. Right. We'll soon see.
Attends, peut-être que le message sur la plaque, je m'en souviens plus.
It's up to the just to deliver judgment. Truth unlocks all possibilities.
Non.
What's wrong? Either I'm imagining things or my hand was pricked. It had poison on it. My head. I feel hot. Asterion. Theseus. Wrongly positioned, I am the blind hero. I wasn't expecting an inscription like that. He's the son of Aegeus. He became the mythical king of Athens, the unifying king. Pity, he's generally only remembered for having slayed the Minotaur. I wonder if Mother managed to solve this enigma.
Lui, il en a pas. Bon, écoute, on va essayer sur toutes, et puis voilà.
Theseus. Looks like a crack has been made on his torso.
merde.
Theseus. Let's try something else instead. Ariadne. Let's see.
Pas. Forcément, ça va être le dernier.
Ariadne. Try something else. Daedalus. He's the architect of the labyrinth, and if I'm not mistaken, he's also the father of Icarus. Hey, there's a crack in this statue too.
Bon.
Daedalus. All right, let's try again. You never know. Minos. The crack is in the region of the heart.
En plus, j'avais dit, je vais essayer Minos et je m'étais gouré de nom.
Again?
You can't be serious, Manuel. You know that's not going to happen.
You must leave me alone now. I have agreed to everything. Even to...
Agreed? I wasn't aware you had a choice.
What's going on here?
What now? What else must I do to win back my freedom?
Obey me. Now get out.
What was that? That's the third time in 3 days. Let's see if you're in there, Mother.
Amber crystals.
Bandages? Someone's been patching themselves up. Looks like my mother took advantage of being in hiding to change her bandages, huh? This is silk. She must have used her own clothes. There are patches where the blood isn't totally clotted. That's a good sign, right? She changed them recently, which proves she's still looking after herself and still believes in her chances. Well, I'd love to tell her to keep hanging in there. These bandages are pretty basic. She'll be lucky if she doesn't get an infection.
A Bazant.
Damn it, Mother. Now what's happened?
Don't move!
Wait, I'm not armed.
Who are you?
Good God, Mother, what have you—
Tell me who you are.
Non, ce drama. Et en plus, j'ai rien raté. Putain, génial. Euh, 4 points disponibles. Prendre un point logique. Ah non. Hop, diversion. Voilà, c'est ça que je voulais prendre. Voilà, pour une étiquette. Et un point d'agilité. Bah voilà, c'est la fin de l'épisode 2. Bon, bah on a retrouvé Mère. C'est cool. Bon, bah moi, c'est pile poil, je voulais m'arrêter là, comme ça. Un épisode par stream, ça va, ça fait quoi, 3 heures à peu près, ça va, c'est nickel. Et bah du coup, bah je vous dis merci, et puis bah je vous dis à la prochaine. Salut!